Have you ever noticed how something as small as a grain of salt can completely change the taste of your food? Now imagine if that same simple element could also change the energy inside your home, the flow of your finances, and even the opportunities that seem to magically appear in your life. That's what this video is all about. Unlocking the hidden power of salt. Not as something you sprinkle on your meals, but as a tool proven by time, tradition, and energy to attract abundance in every sense of the word. If you've ever felt that money slips through your fingers too quickly, or that no matter how much you try, prosperity seems to stop right at your door, then stay with me. Because today, you'll not only understand why salt has been used for centuries to protect and attract wealth, but you'll also discover practical ways to use it at home, simple actions that anyone can do. And here's the promise. By the end of this video, you'll look at that jar of salt in your kitchen with entirely new eyes. So before we go deeper, tell me in the comments, I'm ready to open the doors to abundance. Salt has always carried an aura of mystery far beyond its role in the kitchen. Ancient civilizations guarded it like treasure, not only because it preserved food, but because it preserved life. Think about it. Without salt, entire communities could not survive harsh winters or long journeys. That is why it became a symbol of wealth and prosperity. Even in the Bible and in sacred texts from the East, salt appears as a representation of permanence, purity, and a covenant with something greater than ourselves. It's not just seasoning, it's a crystal filled with memory and intention. Now pause for a second. How many times have you walked into a space that felt heavy, even if it looked beautiful? That uneasy sensation is what many call stagnant energy. Our ancestors knew this well, which is why they placed salt in corners of their homes near doorways, or even carried small pouches of it while traveling. They weren't just being superstitious. They were aligning with a natural element capable of absorbing and transmuting vibrations. Let me give you a simple picture. Imagine a glass of clean water with a spoonful of salt stirred in. Just as salt dissolves and becomes invisible, yet transforms the entire taste, it can do the same in the energetic field of your home. You don't see it working, but you feel the difference. That is why salt was once so valuable that people literally used it as currency. Our word salary even comes from that. Doesn't it make sense that something so essential could also hold the key to attracting abundance? And here's something even more practical. Next time you feel drained after a stressful day, take a handful of coarse salt and let it dissolve in warm water for a simple bath. You will notice your body relax, your mind clear, and the weight of invisible worries begin to lift. This is not magic. It's a blend of nature and intention, just as people have practiced for thousands of years. But of course, using salt as a tool of abundance goes far beyond baths and ancient traditions. The real power lies in where and how you place it inside your home. There's a reason why wise people from different cultures insisted on its presence in certain corners. And that's exactly where we're heading next. Write in the comments, salt carries wisdom. Have you ever wondered why some places instantly feel peaceful, while others seem to drain you the moment you step inside? The truth is, spaces carry energy. Every conversation, every argument, every worry leaves an invisible trace. Salt has long been known as one of nature's most powerful purifiers, capable of absorbing and neutralizing that heavy energy that lingers in a room. That's why our grandparents placed small bowls of salt in dark corners or behind doors. They weren't decorating, they were cleansing. Think about your own home. Maybe you've had moments where tension built up in the living room after a heated discussion. Or perhaps you've woken up feeling tired even after a full night's sleep. Those are signals of stagnant energy. Placing a glass of water with salt in the bedroom, for instance, acts like a magnet that pulls in negativity while you rest. It's a simple step, but the difference you feel the next morning can be striking, lighter, calmer, and more centered. Here's something you can try today. Take a small transparent glass, fill it halfway with water, and add 2 spoonfuls of coarse salt. Place it quietly behind the main door of your house. Leave it there for 7 days without moving it. When you check it at the end of the week, you may notice the salt forming strange patterns or even changing color. That's not random. It's evidence of the energy it has absorbed for you. Dispose of it in running water and repeat as needed. To make this even more practical, imagine the glass as a filter, the same way your air purifier works in a dusty environment. Just as you wouldn't want to breathe contaminated air, you shouldn't allow invisible energy pollutants to remain in your home. Salt does for your spirit what filters do for your lungs. It clears the space so you can breathe abundance and peace. But notice something deeper here. Purifying is just the first step. Once your environment is free from heavy vibrations, you create the perfect canvas to attract prosperity. Cleansing without planting intention is like sweeping a garden but never sowing the seeds. The question is, how do you turn salt from a purifier into a true magnet for abundance? Comment: my home is a sanctuary of light. Imagine this: salt, the same crystal you sprinkle on your food, can also be the crystal that preserves your prosperity. Just as it prevents food from spoiling, symbolically, it can prevent abundance from slipping away. This is why so many cultures saw it as a treasure. In fact, Roman soldiers were often paid in salt. It was literally their salary. That's how valuable it was, and the symbolic meaning still carries weight today. Now think about your own life. Have you ever felt like money comes in, but disappears just as quickly? You work, you save, yet somehow there's always an unexpected expense. Salt reminds us that wealth isn't just about receiving. It's about holding and multiplying what we already have. Placing salt in the right areas of your home can energetically create the same effect. It stabilizes and preserves abundance, keeping it from leaking away like water through your fingers. Here's a practice you can try. Take a small wooden bowl, fill it with coarse salt, and place a single coin in the center. Position this bowl in the southeast corner of your home, the area traditionally connected to prosperity and feng shui. Every time you pass by, visualize that coin multiplying, just like salt enhances the flavor of every dish. Imagine it enhancing every aspect of your financial life. The coin doesn't need to grow physically, but your belief in multiplication activates the energy field around it. To make this more relatable, picture a pantry. When it's stocked with salt, you know meals will always have flavor, no matter how simple. Similarly, when your spiritual pantry is stocked with salt as a symbol of wealth, you feel secure knowing that your abundance won't run out. It gives a sense of groundedness, like having reserves of strength and prosperity always available. But here's where it gets interesting. Preserving abundance is only half the story. There's another dimension where salt doesn't just protect what you have, but actually amplifies and attracts new opportunities. And when you combine it with the right intention, you'll understand why it has been called an invisible magnet for prosperity. Comment: abundance stays and grows with me. Picture this: you walk into your kitchen every morning, and instead of just seeing salt as something to season your eggs, you begin to see it as a small, silent ally that can transform your daily energy. The truth is, abundance is not only about big gestures. It's about consistent little rituals that send a message to your subconscious and to the universe that you are ready to receive more. Salt is like a key you can use every day without effort to tune into that vibration. For example, one simple practice is to sprinkle a pinch of salt near the threshold of your front door once a week. As you do it, repeat to yourself, every step that enters here brings blessings. Every step that leaves takes away what no longer serves me. This may sound small, but that repetition creates a powerful anchor in your mind. Over time, you stop living on autopilot and begin walking consciously in the direction of prosperity. Another powerful ritual is placing a small bowl of salt in the bathroom for 7 days. Why the bathroom? Because it's the place where energy drains just like water. Imagine that every worry, debt, or heavy thought flows away as you shower, while the salt works silently to capture and dissolve what's left behind. After 7 days, throw it away and replace it with fresh salt. The cycle itself becomes symbolic. Release, cleanse, renew. And here's a practical tip that feels almost like a secret. Before making an important financial decision, whether it's investing, signing a contract, or even starting a new job, dip the tips of your fingers in a little bowl of water with salt. Wipe your hands dry and imagine sealing yourself in a field of clarity and good fortune. It's like pressing a mental reset button before opening new doors. But notice something deeper here. These aren't just actions, they're messages. Each ritual teaches your subconscious to believe in renewal, stability, and flow. And once your subconscious is convinced, your reality starts shifting to match that belief. The only question left is, how do we take this daily use of salt and combine it with intention, so it doesn't just cleanse and protect, but also attracts wealth with magnetic force? Comment: everyday rituals call abundance to me. Salt alone is powerful, but when you combine it with intention, it becomes something extraordinary. Think about it. Salt by itself is just a mineral, But the moment you hold it in your hands and focus your thoughts, you are programming it with energy. It's the same reason athletes visualize winning before stepping on the field. The body and mind respond to intention, and so does the energy around you. Here's something simple yet profound. When you place a bowl of salt in your home, don't just set it down mechanically. Take a breath, close your eyes, and imagine your life filled with the things you desire: financial stability, harmonious relationships, health, or opportunities flowing in. Whisper a phrase like, "This salt attracts and preserves abundance in my home." That spoken word seals the energy, turning a simple object into a vessel of prosperity. To see how intention changes results, consider this small exercise. Two people can place the exact same bowl of salt in their doorway. One does it absent-mindedly, rushing between tasks. The other pauses, breathes, and focuses on gratitude while placing it. Guess which one will feel the shift in their home? The second, of course. Because the universe doesn't just respond to actions, it responds to aligned actions with belief. If you've ever tried affirmations, you know how powerful repetition is. Imagine coupling your affirmations with salt rituals. For example, every time you replace the salt in your home, say out loud, "Fresh energy brings fresh opportunities." Over time, this becomes a rhythm, like a heartbeat pulsing prosperity through your walls. It's a blend of matter and mind, of crystal and consciousness. And here's the beauty. Once you've mastered the role of intention, you can amplify the effect by mixing salt with other elements: cinnamon, water, or even a candle. Each combination carries its own vibration, like instruments joining a symphony. And when they play together, the melody of abundance grows even louder. Comment: My intention activates prosperity. Now imagine salt as the foundation and other natural elements as amplifiers. Together, they create a symphony of energy that the universe cannot ignore. For example, cinnamon. On its own, it's just a spice with a warm scent. But when you combine it with salt, it shifts from something ordinary to a ritual that radiates prosperity. A small bowl of salt with a sprinkle of cinnamon placed in your living room doesn't just smell comforting. It silently whispers to the universe, "This is a home where wealth belongs." Another ally is water. Salt dissolved in water becomes a natural purifier. Picture a clear glass with salt water in the corner of your home. Over the days, that water absorbs stagnant energy like a sponge. When you pour it out at the end of the week, it's more than disposal. It's a symbolic release of all negativity that has no space in your future. It's a physical way of telling your mind, "I let go, I make room for more." And then there are candles. Fire has always been a force of transformation, and when a candle sits beside a bowl of salt, it's like lighting up your intentions. Try this. Place a white candle next to a bowl of coarse salt on your table, light it, and while it burns, write down 3 goals you want to achieve in the next month. The flame activates, the salt anchors, and the ritual creates a vibration that aligns you with action and opportunity. To make it even more practical, think of these combinations like recipes. Just as salt enhances every flavor in a dish, it enhances the vibration of any element it pairs with. Cinnamon becomes more magnetic, water more cleansing, fire more activating. And when you treat your rituals like recipes for energy, you begin cooking abundance into the very atmosphere of your home. But here's the secret most people miss. Even with the right ingredients, the placement of these rituals is what decides their full effect. A bowl in the wrong spot is like planting a seed in dry soil. It won't grow. Which is why learning the exact places to position salt in your home is the next step to unlocking its full magnetic power. Comment: I mix elements and prosperity multiplies. Think of your home as more than just walls and furniture. It's a living map of your energy. Every corner, every doorway, every room holds a symbolic meaning. That's why the placement of salt matters so much. You could have the purest salt, the strongest intention, but if it's placed in the wrong area, it's like shouting into the wind. Now, when you put it in the right spot, it's as if the universe leans closer to listen. The most strategic place is your front entrance. This is the mouth of your home, the gateway through which energy, opportunities, and people enter. A small bowl of coarse salt near the door works like a silent guardian. It welcomes abundance in while filtering out negativity. Every time you cross that threshold, imagine you're stepping through a barrier that allows only blessings to pass. Another powerful placement is the southeast corner of your home, often called the wealth corner in feng shui. By placing salt here, You're symbolically planting prosperity in fertile soil. Imagine it as the roots of a tree, invisible at first but quietly growing, drawing in nourishment, until one day you notice the branches heavy with fruit. Pair this with a coin or two inside the salt, and you've just created a simple but potent magnet for financial growth. Don't forget the bathroom. Strange as it may sound, it's the space where energy tends to drain. That's why a bowl of salt here works wonders. It keeps your prosperity from flowing away unnoticed. It's like sealing leaks in your energetic pipeline. And when you notice tension in your bedroom, a discreet bowl of salt near the bed can help absorb emotional residue, giving you deeper rest. The truth is, salt acts differently depending on where it stands. Entrance, wealth corner, bathroom, bedroom, each one shifts the vibration in a unique way. And once you understand this map, you begin to see your home as more than shelter. It becomes an ally. But here's the thing, knowing where to place salt is only part of the story. The next question is, how do you see if it's really working? What are the signs that abundance is on its way? Comment, my home invites prosperity at every door. Stories have power because they make invisible truths visible. Throughout history, people didn't just believe in salt's energy, they experienced it. For example, there are accounts of merchants in ancient Rome who carried small pouches of salt during their travels. They claimed it protected their goods from theft and misfortune, and many said their earnings multiplied compared to those who ignored the practice. Coincidence? Or alignment with an energy field larger than themselves? Fast forward to modern times. A woman in Texas once shared with me how she placed a bowl of coarse salt in her bathroom after a period of constant financial strain. Within a week, her husband received a new job offer, and she began sleeping peacefully for the first time in months. Was it the salt alone? No, it was the ritual, the shift in energy, and the belief that prosperity was finally welcome in her home. Salt acted as the anchor for her intention. Here's a small experiment you can try. Put a bowl of water with salt under your bed for 7 nights. Many people report vivid dreams, emotional clarity, and even unexpected opportunities appearing shortly after. What's fascinating is that physics itself supports this idea. Studies of crystallization show that salt absorbs and holds patterns of energy. If crystals in labs can record frequencies, why wouldn't the salt in your home hold the vibration of your intentions? The point is, salt works best when combined with faith and repetition. Think about exercise. One push-up won't transform your body, but daily practice changes everything. Salt rituals are the same. Each placement, each intention, builds an invisible momentum until you start noticing coincidences that aren't coincidences at all. A call from someone you'd lost touch with, a bill that gets unexpectedly covered, or a sudden sense of calm when you walk into your home. These are the fingerprints of abundance at work. But there's an even more intriguing side to all of this. The science of why your thoughts, paired with salt, shape your reality. Modern research into quantum physics and energy fields gives us clues that our ancestors somehow knew all along. And when you see the connection between ancient wisdom and modern science, your faith in these rituals becomes unshakable. Comment, abundance is already moving toward me. Have you noticed how many people underestimate the quiet strength of age and wisdom, especially when it comes from something as simple as a grain of salt? For centuries, our ancestors didn't have scientific jargon like quantum field or vibrational frequency, yet they instinctively knew that salt had the power to cleanse, protect, and attract. What modern researchers are finally discovering is that these traditions weren't superstition. They were early observations of energy in motion. Think about it. Physicists now confirm that every thought emits a frequency. Your mind isn't just imagining, it's broadcasting. And when you combine that broadcast with a physical element like salt, you create a bridge between the invisible and the tangible. That's why rituals feel so powerful. They make your inner beliefs visible in the outer world. It's not just a bowl of salt in a corner. It's your intention crystallized in form. Take the example of Dr. Masaru Emoto's experiments with water. He showed that human words, emotions, and thoughts could literally alter the molecular structure of water. Salt, too, is a crystal that carries memory. When you whisper your affirmations into a bowl of salt, you are encoding that crystal with the vibration of your desires. Later, as it sits in your home, it's not just absorbing negative energy, it's radiating the frequency of the abundance you planted within it. This is why it's not enough to perform a ritual mechanically. The real transformation comes when your belief aligns with your action. The salt becomes a silent partner, holding your vibration steady even when your emotions fluctuate. That's why some people see faster results than others, not because the salt is different, but because their inner alignment is stronger. And here lies a question that shifts everything. If salt can hold memory and intention, what happens when you speak your wealth into it? Combining ancient ritual with modern understanding of energy, that's where the practice evolves from cleansing into true manifestation. Comment: my words charge my abundance. When most people think of salt, they imagine something plain, white, and silent. But when you begin to speak to it, when you charge it with words of wealth and gratitude, it becomes a living magnet. Your home isn't just a structure of bricks or wood. It's an energetic field that responds to everything you put into it. Salt in the right place, charged with your voice, turns that field into a receiver tuned to prosperity. Let me share something you can do tonight. Take a small bowl of coarse salt, place it near your front door, and before you go to bed, whisper 3 times, "This house is a magnet for abundance." Every morning, blessings cross this threshold. Then leave it there for 7 days. Every time you walk by that bowl, don't ignore it. Remind yourself, prosperity lives here. You'll notice your mind becoming more confident, more expectant, as if you've already opened the door to fortune. Here's another variation. Place a coin inside the bowl of salt and hold it in your hands for a moment. Feel its weight and imagine it multiplying. Speak into it. Money stays, grows, and returns to me multiplied. That coin becomes a symbol, and the salt becomes its guardian. Keep it in the southeast corner of your living room and let it work silently while you go about your life. Remember, words are not just sounds, they are vibrations. And vibrations shape reality. Just as a singer's voice can shatter glass when it hits the right frequency, your words can shatter the invisible walls that hold back prosperity. Salt simply holds that frequency steady for you, like a tuning fork reminding your space what abundance sounds like. And here's where it gets fascinating. When you combine this spoken intention with consistent rituals, you create a flow. It's not just about having salt in your home anymore. It's about living in a rhythm where your thoughts, your words, and your actions all send the same signal to the universe. But the real question is, what happens when your home itself begins to speak back with signs that your abundance is on the way? Comment: my home is tuned to prosperity. Every ritual has its confirmation signs, and with salt, those signs can be subtle yet powerful. One of the first things people notice is the change in atmosphere. A room that once felt heavy suddenly feels lighter, as if a weight has been lifted. You might not see it with your eyes, but you'll feel it in your body. The way you breathe easier, the way your mood shifts the moment you step inside. That's the salt working silently, reminding you that abundance is already circling closer. Sometimes the salt itself shows you evidence. A bowl left by the entrance may begin to harden, form crystals, or even change color. This is not random. It's energy being absorbed and transformed. Think of it like a sponge. It collects what you don't need so you can live in a space aligned with what you do want. When you throw that salt away and replace it, you're not just discarding grains, you're releasing the weight of old energy and inviting in renewal. Another sign comes in your daily life. Suddenly you might receive a call with unexpected good news, or stumble upon an opportunity you weren't looking for. Maybe an overdue payment finally clears, or a chance meeting opens doors you hadn't considered. These synchronicities are more than luck. They're proof that your environment is resonating at a higher frequency, and prosperity is responding. And perhaps the most important signal is internal. You begin to think differently. Where you once worried about money, you now expect it. Where you once felt blocked, you now feel pathways opening. That inner shift is the true abundance at work. And the salt is simply the mirror reflecting it back to you. But here's something deeper to reflect on. If the signs show up outside and inside, could it be that your reality has already changed and you're just catching up to it? That's the mystery of working with salt. It doesn't only prepare your home, it prepares you. And when you're aligned, there's no limit to the prosperity that can flow in. Comment: I recognize the signs of abundance. So here we are, standing at the threshold of an ancient truth and a modern awakening. A simple crystal, found in every kitchen, has revealed itself as one of the most powerful allies for cleansing, protecting, and attracting prosperity. From the hands of our ancestors to the shelves of your pantry, salt carries a wisdom that connects generations. And now you know how to use it with intention, how to place it with purpose, and how to read the signs when abundance begins to answer your call. But let me tell you something important. Knowing is not enough. Prosperity doesn't respond to curiosity, it responds to action. The universe is waiting to see if you will treat this knowledge as just another interesting video, or as the start of a new rhythm in your life. The difference lies in whether you take that bowl, that coin, that ritual, and make it real in your own home. And here's where I want to invite you into something bigger. Imagine thousands of us, all across the world, aligning our homes and hearts with the same frequency of abundance. Every grain of salt placed with intention becomes part of a collective wave of prosperity. You're not alone in this journey. You are part of a movement. And that movement starts with one small action today. So, before you go, let me ask you, are you ready to declare your openness to abundance, not just in theory, but in practice? If the answer is yes, I want you to write right now in the comments, I open my doors to prosperity. This is your signature, your stamp, your energetic handshake with the universe. And stay close, because in the next part, I'll show you how this practice connects with something even greater, where salt is no longer just a tool, but the foundation of rituals that can shift the very rhythm of your destiny. The best is yet to come.